TechDrover, code doesn't lie, but sometimes the people behind it do. Experience beats hype and activity. In tech, we love to worship youth and activity, but too often we ignore people with the experience who've been there, done that, and delivered real products that work and add value. Let's stop the fantasy about youth, build better products faster. Got some personal experience. So working on an aircraft project, on the prototype, they had issues with the power circuit breaker tripping, too much current. The younger engineers didn't know what to do. Older engineer comes by, listens to the problem, picks up a screwdriver, turns the voltage down on the generator, less voltage, less current, problem went away, prototype testing continued. The experience matters. On a project I was working on, a junior developer was asking me about ORMs and database. And I gave him the device. If you're doing something simple, ORMs are great. If you're doing anything complicated, sometimes it's better using, straight JDBC so you can optimize, tailor the queries, the database structure, and really build an optimal solution. That's more than what ORM can do sometimes. I think he was skeptical. I met him a few years later, and he remembered it. I didn't really, and he told me I was right. So again, that experience could have helped solve that problem faster, but the inexperience led him to go down the wrong path for a while. And these examples match decades of studies that show experience is 20 times faster. 20 to 1 in coding speed, 25 to 1 in debugging time, 10 to 1 in program performance. So you got to have that experience if you want to get better things done faster. But it's not about years of experience, it's about the kind of experience. I think I said it before, if you're building a mobile app, you want someone who's got 5 or more years building insignificant apps that don't really do anything but connect to the back end? Or do you want someone who has built complex apps, solved real problems, and delivered real world solutions? It's working on another team. One morning, the servers stopped working. The team of younger guys, they were in a panic. One of them wanted to redeploy code and see if that fixed it. And I'm trying to caution them about shotgunning. You don't just redeploy code that was working yesterday. Turned out, certificate expired. Boy, but they were panicked. They were ready to change everything instead of managing and fixing their certificate that would have even prevented this problem in the first place. You also need good, experienced managers and leaders who have developed tech teams and built great products. Not just your best coder, not just your best friend, but leaders who have been there, done that. And leadership is different than management. Management's the details, tracking how much code was done, how many points were done in a sprint, what our speed is, all of that. Leadership is about motivation, getting people on the same page, getting the right things happen, keeping the focus on what you're trying to accomplish. Also speed, it's not always the right answer. You go too fast, you make mistakes, now you got more debugging time, more testing time. One tech giant found that perceived increases in code quality were followed by real improvements in developer productivity, not the other way around. So again, the experience matters. Another place, a systematic review of practitioner beliefs found weak support for the idea that your experience alone boosts quality or productivity. Ultimate outcomes depend more on how that experience is structured and the domain context. You can take an inexperienced person who's been delivering products that sell a product, a mobile app, that's supporting technology. They're not necessarily going to be that great in a product whose core IP is part of the mobile app, solving real complex problems. So again, it's not just number of years, it's a type of experience. And you want someone with that breadth and depth of experience who knows what works, what doesn't, so they get the stuff done. They've also got to be open to new ideas. Because sometimes new ideas are better, but they know how to evaluate it, they know how to get it done. They get stuck in their ways, whether they're young or old, doesn't matter. It's not the kind of person you want on your team. Experts make fewer mistakes. The experts chunk code better. Improves comprehension and performance. Improves code quality. Don't confuse activity with results. Frantic activity may look like people are getting things done. It's not always the case. You go too fast, you make mistakes. Got to focus on your end users, do what makes sense, and don't get all hyper and excited trying to get some ridiculous deadline. Focus on what you're trying to do. Suggests that long tenure alone without deliberately improving skills doesn't distinguish top performers. Rather, active, deliberate practice and exposure to varied, complex tasks is what sets experts apart. So, again, breadth of experience. You don't want someone who spent all their life doing just one thing in a silo. You want someone who's seen a bunch of things, knows how to react to things. You want that diverse background. You also want a mix. One of the teams I was on, we had about 5 developers a while back. This was a DoD program. We were doing a reference architecture for the project. And we had me and another senior guy, a couple of mid-level guys, and a kid right out of college. We all worked great together. We helped each other. We all learned from each other. You know, we even learned from the kid right out of college because he was better at JavaScript at the time than the rest of us. So having that mix of experience really helped us deliver an exceptional solution where one set of us alone could not have done. But that mix of experience, new ideas, tried and true, bringing that together gives you the best products. So don't always just look for the young kids. Just because they are more active or they don't sleep doesn't mean they're doing anything. And you certainly don't want that guy sitting in his office sliding pizza under the door to get code done. Yeah, that doesn't work either. You know, superficial experience, focusing on syntax, focusing on the current term for something we've been doing for 30, 40 years. That doesn't get you anywhere. It's the people who've dug into it, knows what's going on underneath, that solve the real hard problems. So you want that varied real-world experience, cross-industry experience. They've seen different things. Regulated environments, B2B, B2C. Again, that's going to add more value. And if you look at the AI solutions, AI success studies have shown that 70% people, 30% tech. So that's leadership, adoption, workflows. That's what matters in successful AI adoption. It's not just the tech. Domain specialists, they identify the high-value data sets. They know what to go after. They know what results make sense. So again, experience in that domain, experience across multiple domains provides more value, faster times. And the technical team in an AI environment, they're going to rely on those SMEs, on those domain experts to bring in that valuable real-world experience. Otherwise, what is their target? What are they aiming at? You know, how do they evaluate it? So you got to bring in that expertise, that experience to help keep the solution focused. That helps define the right success metrics. It's not just lines of code. It's not just story points. You know, what is your real set of metrics that tie back to business goals, business objectives? When you're hiring, you know, keep all this in mind. Don't overlook experienced people. And if you want stuff done right and done fast, you want the right kind of experience. You don't want just someone flailing around trying to get things done. You want people who've been there, done that, who can know how to solve the problems, even ones they haven't seen before. So again, 20-to-1 difference in coding speed for experienced versus non-experienced. Difference in program performance up to 10-to-1. Those are pretty telling metrics. So you want to bring in the experience to get the right problem solved and get things done fast and get them done right. It doesn't do any good to sling a lot of code if you're spending a lot of time testing and debugging it. Better off getting it done right in the first place. And I'm going to put some of these statistics out on TechDrover.com. Look it up. And again, if you got any questions, suggestions, need some help, hit me up. So until next time, thanks for riding along. You know, I've wrangled worse. You're going to be fine. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Next up, 10 mobile app things I hate.